Hello and welcome to the Sweaty and the Farmer on the news. We try to get our news from the best pigeons in the city. This is a weekly show where we discuss some of the most important news in the gaming world. I am the no-name gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for coming together this week to talk about some relevant news.
Some of the very colorful and birdie relevant news. So in the docket we have Warframe is skinning down. He's doing the diet. He's doing the juice cleanse.
It is, basically.
Yeah. Another summer phenomenon. We're gonna talk about craziness. Yeah. And stuff. And finally, Baldur's Gate 3, very anticipated RPG, will let you decide a streamer's dialogue choices. So, nice. Warframe is going to take less space in your hard drive. So how is this possible? Is the world coming to an end? Is Warframe just redid everything?
Basically, they redid a lot of old textures and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is in conjunction with the change of like rendering graphics technology that they did a year ago, 2 years ago already, a year and a half.
Yeah, like a year ago.
And like a year ago, right? So they freed themselves from the NVIDIA partnership that they had with all the graphics technology, and now they're writing their own engine, technically speaking, and their own technology.
They have always been writing their own engine. It's just that their previous engine was using like some NVIDIA proprietary code to the rendering.
There you go. So
but now they are doing that in-house.
Yeah, and so that lets them control a little more about like size of the textures and what goes where. And that allows them to get to this point, because by now Warframe, how big was it? 42 gigabytes, almost 50?
Yeah, it was around 50 gigabytes.
Yeah, and now he's going down to only 15.
It's going down 15.
It's going down 15, so it will let him like around like what, 30?
30, something like 35 30, or something.
Yeah, around that.
Which is fairly small for a modern
absolutely
AAA quality game.
Yeah, and by the size of Warframe, it's like considerably small. Now we do get used to like every time the Warframe is updating, like big patches is like around 5 to 10 gigabytes of content, and now everything's getting compressed. I think 2020 is the year of like games getting into diets, because we have this, and then in November we technically have Destiny 2. But the difference is that Warframe is not losing any content.
That's exactly the point.
That is the difference, and there is a lot of things in this article about like, so you say me that this is possible, and then what is the game that they meme about all the time?
Modern Warfare.
No, Call of Duty, that is like raping.
Yeah. Modern Warfare.
Yeah, Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare that is like consuming hard drives in consoles everywhere, and they just deploy insanely heavy updates every time. Like I'm talking about like 30 gigabytes per update, or like patches of like 15 gigabytes, only patches, no content. So there you go. You can do it. You can like keep your game to again, and this is becoming like kind of ridiculous. Again, Warframe giving me a lesson to the rest of the industry of like, you can actually keep your game at a sane size without losing any content, right?
Not only that, but like, it's like you can do it. Like, if they can do it,
yeah,
Bungie probably can do it with Destiny 2 without
Activision
taking away
can
content.
do it, yeah. It's like if they, that I think that's you hit the nail in the head. Like if they, as an indie studio, can do it, why can a triple game with all this developer time and money and everything?
I kind of don't even care about the other ones, but it's like I remember that we were talking extensively about why Destiny 2 is going the ball thingy.
Yeah.
And that one of the reasons was that the game was too big and stuff like that. And I'm like, and this is kind of the proof that I don't know how big Bungie is, but I'll assume that Bungie and the are both around the same size in number of people.
Right now, I'll probably say yes. After the separate from Activision, they have a big shrinkage.
They are both fairly small studios.
Yeah.
And look, they can do it. I mean, it is possible if you put your head into it.
You can keep your, like, what is it? How big is, for example, WoW is not that big for being a big game, right? Like if you download WoW, is like 80 gigabytes, I think, around that.
It may be less than that.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit less. But you have to think that the graphics quality in WoW is kind of like very cartoonish, so their assets don't take that much space.
I don't know how true is that. I wouldn't dare to.
Yeah, because you can have
say
like
anything about that.
Yeah, you can have these games which are like very graphically like simple, and for reasons unknown they have like a very simple texture that is like 4K and takes a lot of space. Anyway, technical stuff.
It is not about just the texture. Like WoW has a lot of NPCs and models, and you want those to be high resolution.
Yeah.
It's not about the grass or the general textures.
So
also a world is all in one, so
all right, fair enough.
So it may have different. It has for sure different types of requirements.
Yeah, but it's possible to do. There you go. Warframe saying, "Look, we skinned down our game, and it's not gonna be the end of the war, and we're not gonna vault any content, and we are not gonna lose anything. We're just gonna save you space in your hard drive." And like everybody cheer and say Warframe is the best because they do this kind of stuff.
Takes something around 60 gigs on my computer.
All right, yeah, fair enough. How much is the Division 2? That's the 50, right? Around 50.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't remember the latest.
I remember when I was kind of, I think it's a little bit more like around 68. Anyways, like we don't have infinite hard drive space.
Absolutely.
But more to that is bad for new players when you are getting into a game and you have to have 100 gigabytes or 120 gigabytes download of a game.
More than that, it is more likely for most people to uninstall a big game that they're not using.
Yeah.
Though, and then in the future, it's less likely that you'll play again that game because you don't want to install all that trash in your computer again.
Yeah.
So if it is a smaller game, you're just gonna leave it there, and it is more likely that you're gonna pick it up one day at random, and that you'll probably get hooked up again.
Yeah.
Like the difference between having a 30 gigabyte game installed and a 200 one, it's a lot. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the 30 gig game, it's kind of leave it.
Yeah,
like it's not that much difference.
I really like Warframe and D in this kind of stuff because they always offer you the option of optimization and being aware of like what your system needs to run the game and to run it in the most like nice way. Like if you ever install an update of Warframe, they always ask you, do you want to like optimize this cache and do you want to optimize your files so so your game runs smoothly without any problem. And that includes like they compress some of the files in the actual download and make the game less messy. So they've always been like aware of niceness in terms of like storage and RAM consumption and that sort of stuff. So it's nice that we have less space consuming.
That we have more space.
And we have more space. We have less space consumed by the games. We have more space to put more games on it. Basically. Especially for console dudes, right? Especially for people in consoles, right? They have like very limited space.
It is, but we should mention that this change is first only coming to PC.
Of course. Yes, of course. As always, the Warframe console version is always like a little bit behind.
They're trying to close the gap, to be fair.
Yeah.
But these technical changes, it makes sense that they'll deploy first to PC and we'll see how they fare, how they go.
Yeah.
Once everything is more stable after the technical changes, because they don't know how it is gonna
pan out
across the diversity of PCs.
Correct.
So once all the kinks are ironed out, we'll probably deploy for consoles. But it's coming for PC first, and it'll probably take a couple of weeks to.
Yeah, fair enough.
To even get into certification for console, but it is going in that direction.
Yeah,
for sure.
it is
not
good
that
news.
They're never gonna get the quality of life changes. It's just that we PC players are the guinea pigs for a lot of the stuff in Warframe.
We indeed are. So, but it's still, I insist, it's still good news.
Oh, it's amazing. That doesn't take anything away from it.
Yeah, it's still
just for the sake of clarity.
Yeah. So it's still very good news in the future for console, which are the one that suffer the most for big games being downloaded because their hard drives are not that big, and like upgrading a console hard drive equals
that's the real problem. It's not that the hard drives are not that big, it's that upgrading can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, correct. Especially if you have like an Xbox 360, that generation, yeah.
I don't know.
All of them I'm lost in consoles. Same here. Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4. Yes.
Yeah.
If you have like the first generation, if you were an early adopter in those consoles, your console is pretty old and it's gonna have a lot of troubles like upgrading your hard drive and that sort of stuff. But anyways, good news. It
is good news indeed.
Yeah. So moving on, our next news. So multiplayer Space Mystery Among Us hit 1.5 million simultaneous players. In the heels of what is happening, Lucho? Why Fall Guys and now this? Which like I was talking with a friend with this and I was like, I know what kind of game it is. It's based in like an old game that we used to play, in the hobby store that I went to play Magic and learn to play Magic there, and then down there hobby store they have like a bar. So we went down a bar after like a day of playing Magic and play that, grab a couple of drinks, say play this kind of games, right? And it's like what I play it was called like the sheep and the wolves, and it was like this. It was like you sit down at a table and then you give in some cards, and then one of those cards assign you as a wolf, and then you try to secretly kill off the rest of the players before they discover it. Basically, that's the basic concept, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of tabletop games built around that idea. It's a very popular.
There is another one called like Hitler,
Secret Hitler. It's a very popular game.
Yeah. So why? Why do you think this is happening now?
Now, because of the quarantine/pandemic thing. I mean, party games have always been popular.
Yes.
Just that now we're stuck at home, and then these virtual versions of party games make sense that they rise in popularity. These are fairly easy games to
grab,
pick up for anyone.
Yeah. There is like even a mobile version, right?
Yeah, but that's not what matters. Is what is interesting about these games is the social aspect and the social interactions in the game, like among the players.
Yeah,
that's what makes them interesting. And the mechanics are super easy to pick up, so low barrier of entry, fun game with friends.
Yes,
and it is just a platform to interact with your friends in this time. So I'm not surprised that it is such a huge hit nowadays.
That is so popular.
Yep.
And it comes in the heels of Fall Guys, and like, yeah, I think it's a thing about the zeitgeist that.
Yeah, but
humans.
But this is
even
more simple than Fall Guys.
Absolutely, like even in yes, even more.
Which
simple.
Makes it even easier to pick up.
Yeah.
And it has even more potential to the phenomenon that it has become in the last couple of weeks, actually.
Yes, correct. And like, I get the appeal, but like, I don't know. They've been asking me like why I don't play this kind of games. I'm like, I don't know. I have better games to play. Then they reset me.
It is a very good game. Like, I mean, have you played games like Secret Healer?
Yeah. I told you. Yeah, I told you like
they are fun. That's all there is.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But for those games, there's a human component which is kind of cool. When you can try to read a person and that sort of stuff, like, and that's what I find cool about those style of games. And this is like, well, I cannot do that in this context.
Get on with the times.
Get on with the times. I'm an old man.
The game is very fun. So
fair enough. I will. Yeah, I get why it's fun and that sort of stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old man and that's it.
No, you should just play and stop.
But I don't wanna.
You don't want to spend time with your friends, yeah?
I don't. Wow. That is the claim that Lucho makes. Like, you don't want to spend time with your friends. That is not it. Definitely. That is definitely not it.
You should play the game.
Yeah, I will maybe play it.
A lot of your friends, a lot of our friends have been asking us to.
Man, this was released in 2018.
Yeah, it's an old game.
Holy, okay. Why suddenly, like, why a 2-year-old game suddenly, like, pop up?
I just told you.
Yeah, it's just weird.
No, it's not.
It's not, alright. It's not weird, but still.
It's not weird at all.
Fair enough. So I guess I will play this game some point. Because if not, you're gonna judge me forever and that I'm a bad person, whatever.
The game is more entertaining, that's what you give it credit for.
I guess. But anyways, moving on for last news of this week. Baldur's Gate 3 will let you decide streaming's dialogue choices. You can become digital dungeon masters through Twitch and YouTube integration. What do you think about integration in your Twitch channel, in the Twitch chat, now dictating the course of your RPGs?
Don't care.
And adventure games. This we began with I think the first glimpse of this was Pokemon. Twitch plays Pokemon. I remember this because it was a huge news. It was a huge news about like, oh yeah, we just like let the chat decide what's gonna happen. With like simple controls, you can just enter the chat and say like, oh, up, right, or whatever, and see if the actual chat community could progress in the game, right? So this kind of like Twitch integration / like social stuff in the games. Should games do more of this? Is my question for you.
Sure.
Sure.
Kind of don't care.
You know, okay, imagine a future, Lucho, where an NPC in World of Warcraft is controlled by a Twitch chat somewhere.
I won't be streaming.
No, I say in general, like, if this becomes more commonplace, like, imagine an NPC which is controlled by a chat.
I don't want to take part of that.
You don't want it, but what happens if you suddenly are playing, like, alongside a streamer without you knowing?
I don't want to take part of any of that.
You don't want any of that thing. You want to keep your experience very normal, quote unquote, without an entire chat like doing crazy stuff to you.
No.
Why, you don't want randomness?
Why would anyone want it?
But it's there. It is a big thing. Like now your viewers can torture you, I guess.
I have no viewers. I don't care. I never stream
of this, like developer timing assigned to stream interactions, into that kind of stuff.
I'm not saying that's not interesting if you're into that kind of stuff.
But what if you can do it with your friends? So, and this is the next example, because I was thinking about this, and I was like, what happens if you are playing an MMORPG or an RPG, and then you decide to connect it to the other friends who are playing it, for example, and then suddenly you have an integration where one of the NPCs one of your friends is notified to take a decision for the NPC in the NPC's place.
That sounds too invasive on my own experience.
Will you like that randomness or like influence from your friends in your experience? No? Will not that add to like interesting moments?
No.
No?
No. No.
Just let it be.
Just leave my games alone.
Leave my games alone.
it is also disruptive. Now, like, if you are on the receiving end of the notification that you described, I don't want to be getting notifications for bullshit when I'm doing stuff.
Well, of course, yes, but it is as everything. It is as everything social an option, right? You get like Twitter notifications. And
yes, I opt out.
Exactly my point. But there's people who like that social interaction thingy.
Sure.
At any moment, and it would be like a prompt. I imagine it'd be like, so you like, it'd be so weird, but like, this NPC is doing this in your friend's games. Do you want to change his mind or X or Y? And you give it an option, just like click it. And then you interact with your game with your friend's game remotely in kind of a weird social way. And then influence your friend's game without playing with him. Right? In a remote sense. Will that enrich your experience?
That doesn't change my own experience in the game at all.
But it probably will, right? Because you're dealing with like a person making decisions from the other side, right? Not a proper like NPC kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that is not changing the experience of the decision maker.
Not changing the experience of the decision maker. Okay. All right. What about the other decision that I've seen in these games is the loot that you receive is being decided by somebody else.
Like the Borderlands thing?
Yes, like the Borderlands thing.
I mean, it depends on the game. It doesn't work in all the games.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like an RPG. Like we're kind of talking
again,
like
it doesn't work in all RPGs.
It does not work in RPGs. Why not?
Because not all RPGs are itemized the same way.
No, but the example is simple. The example is like you're gonna open a chest, and again, one of your friends.
It completely depends on the game again. If it is Borderlands, sure, doesn't matter. If it is WoW, no, don't do it. because the games are itemized in different ways.
All right, fair enough. Well,
that completely depends on the game that you're putting on the table.
Let's think it about like Baldur's Gate, which is an RPG itemization style. So like you got like your armor slots and rings and like.
Yeah, but how did you get the item?
You open chests.
How often do you get stuff?
In this example, I guess at the end of a level, for putting it in some way.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, let's see if you get a chest in a fairly regular cadence, like at the point that you can like destroy some loot. Will that impact your
some loot or a lot of loot? Because that's what makes the difference.
If you're giving a lot of loot, it doesn't matter. If you're giving less loot, it matters a lot, right?
Of course it does.
Yeah. Let's put it in the middle. Let's put it in the middle. And then you have some special chests, and the game will tell you that the loot inside is decided by somebody else.
Sure.
Will that make it an interesting thing? And it will tell you who gave you the loot to make it more interesting.
It will make something. I'm not particularly interested in that. It will be a thing.
It will be a thing. Will change your experience or something like that. Like, oh, this person gives me this cool loot, but this other person didn't, or whatever.
Sure, but I don't know.
It's too weird, but that's kind of like the sort of stuff that these integrations like open up to, right? The Borderlands thing,
I know.
And kind of more of social integration inside your games, where like other person are deciding random stuff to change your experience or the course of your RPG story or things like that. Because this is gonna like the fact that the streamers can decide that choices clearly is gonna affect the story progression of the person playing with this.
True.
So there you go, more social interaction in your games. You don't want it.
I mean, not really.
I think it's interesting in terms of like the experiments that design these kind of tools are interesting for like other uses, for more multiplayer integration, for more like storyline streamlining in that side of stuff. But the crazy stuff with the Twitch channel and the social things is like, okay, yeah, it's kind of, they're trying to kind of involve other person in your game experience without being strictly another player playing the same game.
I get it, but that sometimes is annoying.
You find it annoying? How so?
I know backseat gaming is annoying.
No, well, there's people who enjoy backseat gaming.
Yeah, those people are weird.
Yeah, I know, but these people exist. And they give them tools. There you go.
I think that's why it feels weird to me, because it feels like backseat gaming.
Like a weird way of backseat gaming.
Yeah, just let me play the game however I want. Let me have my own experience.
But yeah,
not everyone has to be part of my experience.
I wonder if the idea. Well, I wonder if the idea is like twofold. Like, not having. You need some randomness in some RPG games, and that kind of tools like allow you to have randomness without putting like developer time in AI or something like that.
Don't be lazy, put the time.
I know, but it's like a good options and kind of put like the randomness into the human side, and we humans are more random than a random machine, say something. And I think that's kind of the intention, like that the human factor will be more interesting in the outcome of your games in a random that the machine random factor, I guess.
Sure, but I know what you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
But it still feels like people backseat gaming. I don't like that.
Yeah, like everybody's involved in your game experience for some reason that it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but just don't.
Yeah, just stop.
Just go play your own games.
Just let me be. Yeah, but we'll make a note that all these kind of systems are always optional, right? They give you some benefit, like in Borderlands 3. Of course, they give you some benefit of like if it's like Borderlands 3 when you get like random loot and stuff, that is nice. But like more involved things like this is certainly weird. But anyways,
it is also weird if it is like a story-driven game.
Yeah.
Because I will trust more that the people making the game have a story that they want to tell in a certain way, and they want to emphasize certain things, and you'll hope that the developer, like I'll prefer developers to have all the control or the storytelling devices.
Yeah.
If it is like a story-heavy game, for example.
I don't know. It's like I guess that they take into account these sort of systems.
I guess so, but
yeah.
But I don't like if you have a story to tell, you probably want to tell it in a certain way.
Yes.
And you want the people to experience the story that you want to tell in a very specific manner.
Well, remember that we're talking about an RPG. So the RPG is like Baldur's Gate has a lot of like outcomes and different branches of storytelling, etc., etc. So I get what you mean, like to keep that you are worried that this will disrupt the type of story that you want to tell inside your RPG, considering that it has a lot of outcomes and player choice is very important for it. That is your worry, right?
Yeah,
that it will disrupt that. Well, who knows? But I'm guessing that the developers have like halfway smart and know that these kind of systems, like take into account these kind of systems.
Yeah. They could just be experimenting with something.
That too, who knows? But like interesting stuff, my friend. But that's it for this week's news, my friend.
That's all for this week.
Yes.
For this week's news with the Sweaty and the Farmer. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at LuisGPolanco.
And I am the Lone Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at the Lone Name Gamer, and Twitch on twitch.tv/LoneNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays to Fridays. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, say to all your friends that play all those party games that The Sweaty, the Farmer, and the News is the best news that you ever heard. That is pleasure for your ears. And support with all the things social that you can. Thank you for coming to the Sweaty the Farmer and the news. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.